Right now, it is Thursday. We are going to go over right now to our browser. We are going to check out ord-oracle.com. That is the Ord Oracle. And the Ord Oracle is no other than Tim Ord. Tim comes on every Tuesday and Thursday. And wow, quite the movement. We have, again, some movement to the downside of the SPY. That seems to be recovering a little bit right now. You have the gold contract moving up 3.55% as people move in to some kind of really almost recessionary kind of issue. And then taking a look at the GDX, trading right now up 5.37%. How about that? Tim Ord, how are you doing?
Lots been going on lately.
Man, it has been. Let's take a look at some stuff.
Right, let's take a look at stuff. Matter of fact, we were talking on your Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was kind of in a hurry. I did get long on the market on that close, and I actually got out yesterday. We'll show you the reason why, but let's look at the bigger picture first, see where we are in the market. My phone's going off here. But anyhow, the bottom window is a 100-day average of the trend, and just this looks at usually the bigger trend. This works, I forgot how many, it's like 80% of the time, so it's a high percentage trade. And I put another line in here. We showed this chart quite a few times in the past, but just it reminds you where you are in the market. So there's a chance that we're some sort of a top, and we'll get to some sort of a bottom when this 100-day trend gets up around 1.15. That's 1 point. Well, between 0.15. Doesn't need to get to 1.2 in the 100-day trend, but if it gets up around 1.5, you're probably making an intermediate term low. If you look at here, that was kind of a high, but here it picked out the lows. So anyhow, I drew that line. So that's where we are. Basically, 100-day trends in bearish territory in a nutshell. So we like to see this thing rise over the next several weeks to get up close to 1.2 or something close to that, suggests intermediate term lows forming. To get that, we're going to see a lot of panic in the market. And right now, this is kind of a short-term view where the trend is. 10-day trend as of yesterday's close comes in at 1.12, which is near bullish. But this one here is the 21-day, which is one I'm kind of really keying off of. This really picks out intermediate term lows. Last time this got in bullish territory, came in January 2024. Started an uptrend. Yeah, my opinion, to finally get near an intermediate term low, we're going to see the 21-day trend somewhere close to 1.2 or higher, and we're coming in right now at neutral is 1. So we don't really have enough panic in the market to really get this thing going longer. Intermediate terms, what the point I'm trying to make. So 10-day is backing off again today because you got a trend right now 0.54, which is not very good. So we're probably going to see some backing and filling here. But this is the chart. We got long Tuesday. We got out yesterday. The reason why we got out yesterday, the ticks closed at 651. I thought that was close enough to see, too much euphoria going up here. But we did, as we talked about the 3-gap play, in other words, you had 3 gaps down, that predicts market go back up to the first gap. That's exactly what happened yesterday. Hit the 3rd gap, stop, come back down. So where are we going to go now? I think we're starting to build a base here. This is not the final low. We're right smack in the middle of yesterday's trading range. We're close to it. So either... Well, I'm thinking eventually we're going to get down to this low right here, which is Monday's low, which is high volume. High volume lows almost always tested. And if it's tested on lighter volume and you get the trend in panic territory, like 1.2 or higher, I'll probably end up with a buy signal.
Okay.
The buy signal will go back up to this high because that's a high volume high. You're going to test that. And if that volume is tested on that high on higher volume, you're going to keep going. If it's tested on lighter volume, you're probably going to come back down again. But the trades I got going on right now, right smack in the middle of this big bar yesterday.
Yes.
Either we test this high, I get a sell signal for a downside target this low, or we go back down to this low, test this on a lighter volume, give them an upside target for this high. So you got in a trading range here, and that's what markets do to build cause for the next rally up. I think we're in the process of making a bottom here. We did have enough panic in the market. If you notice, this volume's really huge compared to the previous days for it. So that's a blowout low. So this low is going to be tested. That could lead to the next buy signal, which would be this high. It's not going to keep going. It's just going to test this high. Then from there, we'll have to wait and see. So, but a little bit of patience, right in the middle of nowhere. There's no trade here. Can it go up? Yeah, I test that high. Can it go down? Yeah, I can test this low. But right now, I don't have a objective which way it's going to go. I think with the trend and tick doing what it's doing today, if we had a trend like 1.2 or higher, I think we'll test that high first. But since we got a trend coming in right now, and if it stays here over the next couple of days, especially 0.52, that's no panic. So that's no low. So that would need the market need to go down low until that trend starts to rise, whatever that is. Most likely that trend will rise right back at this level here. I always said in the past, once you get a high trend reading, I didn't put it in here, but this day right here, yesterday, no, actually it was this day before, this is Tuesday, that's when we're on the air, and that trend closed that day of 2.42. Once you get a trend reading in an area that shows panic, normally when you get around in that area again, you'll get panic again. So there's a kind of a double story here. Is this low or this low? Most likely we'll get to this low. But this vicinity, I bet you get panic again. You're going to end up with a buy signal. But it'll be a short-term buy signal.
Perfect. Tim, please stay right there, folks. We'll be right back with Tim Ward after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get to Tim Ward, I just want to say the yields are kind of blowing out again. 10-year up at 4.4%, 30-year 4.9%, 2-year declining a little bit by about 10 basis points, 3.84. This is some pretty gnarly stuff going on. And then additionally, you have your junk bonds here. Yields are coming up as well. They're selling off about 1.65% in the HYG. Tim, let's get back to what we're talking about, because you're seeing some weakness, at least to the movement to the upside that we were seeing yesterday.
Right. So kind of in a nutshell, I've been saying panic only forms at lows. We're just finally starting to get some panic here. And to reload this market, I guess you might say, you're going to need some panic. Again, on Tuesday, which is this day right here, we had a 2.42 reading. And if you go back down in that range again, you're probably going to get another trend reading at least 1.2 or higher. Matter of fact, I got a day right here of 1.28. So you're starting to see panic trend closes in this vicinity. So give or take. So we're probably going to end up with a buy signal on a test of this low. And but test this low gives an upside target to the previous high, which is this high. Well, that's 10% higher. So it's really a decent trade to the upside. So because this trade right here, this day right here, was 9.5% just that one day. Right. So we're going to actually be lower to that. So you're going to be over 10%, right? So that's what's starting to develop. Trend 1.28 on this day. This day was 2.42. If you get another one down here, 2 something, most likely we're going to end up with the trade, and it's going to be upside target. We may go through that target. I don't know, but we'll at least go back up to it. So, but that's again over a 10% trade. So that's the next setup. So, but we're in between no man's land right now, because you're not near a previous high or previous low. You're right smack in the middle. So there's nothing to do. But I think we fall back here. It's my opinion. So we'll see how that trade works out. And we're on twice a week, so if it does, we'll announce it. So,
of course, yeah.
Here's something that's developing. We said this is a gold GDX top window, and I've been saying this is probably 3 drives to a top pattern. This is the same pattern. I just kind of keep updating it. And anyhow, three drive top pattern, how do you identify them? Is the second top retraces at least 61.8% of the previous up leg. Well, it did. This I have a Fibonacci retracement level there, those blue lines, and it retraced a little bit over 61.8%. But it has to also do on big volume. If you notice, the volume did jump, so it meets that requirement. You have a pullback on higher volume. That 61.8% retracement of the previous up leg. What happens next is another new high. If you notice, the market's really rallying here strongly, and we're going to hit to new highs up here. The next higher high will be a top. Exactly where it'll come in at, not sure, but probably around the 50 range on GDX. Mm-hmm. Three drives at top pattern has the target to where the pattern began. So we go up three drives top pattern, we retrace all the way back down to 39. So that's quite a bit of volatility.
Okay.
Yeah, going forward here. That's market does this sometimes. It just knocks everybody out, the bulls and the bears.
Yes.
And so, we're probably going to be sellers not too far distance here because this market's going to move fast, pretty fast here. But we'll probably get in the 50s range, maybe 49 to 52. I don't know. But we'll get up there. I'll have some clues when it does. But, if you notice here, we're basically setting a new highs, intermediate term. We're above this high. But if you notice what's going on here on the advanced decline, cumulative advanced decline and cumulative up-down volume, which is this bottom, both of them are going down as this market's hitting newer higher highs. So that's a bearish divergence. In other words, it's less volume to the upside carrying the market up, and there's less advanced issues compared to declining issues carrying the market up.
Right.
So the leadership is starting to narrow, and that's what happens at tops. The advanced decline gets weaker, and the up volume compared to down volume gets weaker. So will this get below minus 10 when this next one, say we hit in the 50 range? Will that get below minus 10? It could, but we're not too far from it now. We're minus 2 on one and basically 0 on the other one. So we got the divergence. So I'm probably going to issue a sell signal on this. I don't know. Doesn't look like it'd be today, but
Right.
Probably could it could be next week, maybe week after. Depends how the market kind of gels out here. But the next high is probably a worthwhile high because if we get to 50, retrace all the way to 39. That's over a 20% retracement. And another thing, three drives of top pattern are not long-term topping patterns. They're timeouts and uptrends. And that kind of confirms from other studies I do on GDX. I got GDX in an uptrend, at least at the very earliest, late or November of this year, but probably long. So this is just a shakeout to the upside.
Right.
So I think, in general, I think GDX actually could rally to 2027. I may change that projection, but right now, this is a good trade opportunity, I guess you might say, and it's setting up pretty well. Here's a longer-term chart. So this is a 50-day average of the up-down volume, so it's like a month and a half of data. So this may not get to a sell signal. It may stay, above 0. It ain't below 0 on this one. It's a sell signal. But this is more intermediate term trading. So we just may pull back to 39. This indicator remains on a buy signal. But I think what we're going to try to pick out is probably something like this area right here, where this indicator remains strong, and it's just a pullback in an uptrend. So that's what I think is happening. So I got quite a few gold stocks. I'm trying to look for some that I could sell and buy back later. And so what else charts I got?
Well, I want to say too, you might be looking to be a seller somewhat soon, not right now in particular. But if people get your newsletter, they can get that kind of, I know we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, but there's always developments going on in the market. And definitely recommend checking out that newsletter as well, because I'm sure you'll be updating it like that too. So.
Yeah. I put out right before that buy signal I got on Tuesday. I sent out a email before the close. Got to take the closing price, and says if these conditions happen, I'm long the market. Then yesterday I put another email out. If the tick readings close anywhere near plus 800, they close at 651. I'll be a seller, and that's what I did. So now this trade here, I'll be announcing it. So
okay, do you have any more charts?
Uh, no more charts. If you want to talk to me, we can have questions. I can answer them.
Yeah, well, hang on right there, folks. If you have any questions, ask me in the den or the YouTube. Tim, hang on right there. If we don't have anything, we can wrap it up, but it'd be awesome to get some exposure for that.
All right,
so
I'll hold on.
Folks, we'll be right back. Ask your questions during the break. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined right now by Tim Ord. I had you guys send in some questions over the break. One thing I want to say before we bring him back on, we're going to talk about China as well to wrap up the show, just myself after Tim leaves. Some pretty big developments with China admitting to being responsible for hacking our infrastructure and then possible delistment of Chinese companies. So Tim, we actually did have a few questions.
All right.
First one is going to be, do you cover bonds at all?
No, I got an indicator that I do an RSI on the bond or equity bond ratio, but other than that, no.
Okay.
This is you can branch off to so many directions in the market. You're just waiting. So I kind of specialize in two markets, and that's why I focus on. So
totally understand that.
All right.
And then, so additionally, I guess one of the viewers, one of our Tigers, had seen what's referred to as a death cross on the SPX. I don't know if you saw that intraday. I know we were looking at a longer term picture.
Was that 200-day thing going on?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of old technology. I'll put it that way. It's in their books, but do I have a comment about it?
Yeah.
Just don't look at it. Don't pay attention to it. And stuff I do, it seems to work better than that. So it's kind of a lagging indicator too, because it's like a 200-day thing. So, but no comment. It's too slow for me.
Okay. And then if you have any thoughts, and this could also be next show, you had a question about Goro and then TFPM. That might be better for next show as well, so you can kind of look at equity charts if you want. And again, guys, check out the Ord Oracle. I mean, the newsletter's good. So,
I wanted to talk about this chart. I got it up again. The reason why this is sometimes you put so much information on the chart, you lose focus of what's going on.
Totally.
And I'm just trying to clarify what this 3 drives to the top pattern. But anyhow, this pattern, this little high here is, drive number 1. This is a second high right here. We haven't seen the third high yet, but if you can see the strength coming up, going into the third high. And again, the pullback was 61.8% retracement. It did a little bit more than that. It did have an increase in volume that nails up the 3 drives to the top pattern. So the only thing is complete this pattern to third high. Okay. And so we're hitting a higher high right now. We'll probably get close to 50 range, but this is, but we're going to go up and we're going to come back down and come a crash mode. And that's the way the equity market may do something like that similar, but it's just a big shakeout of an uptrend. So once we get down to 39 range, it may go a little bit below or maybe hit 38, but in this vicinity, then it should form another bottom and start going up. And the indicator is going to help pick that low. It would be this one here.
Okay.
Will this one get below -10? I probably say it probably will, because the market's rallying here real strongly, and both those indicators are just heading down. So we're probably, most likely, I think, we'll get a reading below -10 on both these indicators, and that'll give a sell signal. Then once it turns around, which they will, because that's how these indicators are designed. They're designed to follow the market. So they'll come right back up above -10. So that'll give us a big helping hand. If the 39 is going to be a bottom, these indicators should start going up in that vicinity. So I wanted to point how all this points out. So don't want to, anyhow, this is, it's technical analysis. Sometimes if you're not familiar with it, you get overwhelmed by the statistics actually you can put on it.
Totally.
But it's pretty simple. But far as the equity market, it's all about panic. If you don't got panic, you don't have a bottom. And even though we didn't get panic all the way from that top we had back, February 19th, all the way down, I misconstrued that decline, because we didn't get panic until just recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back on track. So I bet if the S&Ps do pull back here over the next several days or next week or week after, and we get panic, I'm going along again. As far as that GORO,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's the 3 drives at top pattern 2, and we're going to go up another higher high on the recent. If you look at that pattern, we had 2 highs already, and we did have a retracement off the second high, over 61.8% retracement. That looks similar to this pattern that we got on GDX here. If you look at the current setup on GORO,
Yep.
it looks similar to this. And we don't have the rally yet, but if it does rally, we'll probably have a third top, and that would imply a pullback down to his first low. So I think GORO will pretty much mirror what GDX will do.
Sure.
That's how my opinion. So that's the one I'm thinking I may sell. I don't have that chart right in front of me, but that pattern similar to GDX pattern. If we do get that third top on that gold stock, I may be a seller, then buy back around that first gap. So
Okay.
That's my thought on that.
Well, and then, additionally, I just want to add again, check out the Oracle, guys. He has his stuff in there. Single issue, you can even just check it out, right? I mean, $7.99 USD. That's a huge deal. The last question as well, and this is kind of just a quick one, particularly I think the answer is all, but what classes of gold equities do you like looking at? Big miners, juniors? I know you were saying during, potential face rip rallies in miners, the juniors are great because they really just get a ton of equity flowing in.
Yeah.
But you like ETFs, brokers, anything like that?
No, actually, I just look at the pattern where, as long as it's a gold stock, I don't care if it's, they're digging holes or not. It's just whatever the pattern. I look at volume studies and retracements and stuff like that, and I look, for the monthly Bollinger Band turning up on high volume, and I don't care if it's what kind of a gold stock it is, as long as it's a gold stock. So I don't have a preference, I guess. Just depends on me, just how the pattern is forming. And so there's a lot of patterns out there. Some are not strong at all. Some are strong. So I try to pick out the strongest ones. So and GORO, of all the ones I looked at, that's one of the strongest. Actually, from all the goals, which I look at a lot of them, I probably got about 100 I look at, but not every day. I keep a list of 100 I like. I'll put it that way, and I'll try to pick the best ones out of that 100, and the ones and that gets narrowed down to about 10 stocks. And then of those 10, I really watch pretty closely.
Sure.
And GORO is one of those. So, my opinion, over the next, I think the gold market, I think we got at least a couple of years. We'll have some timeouts and uptrends like what's currently going on in GDX, but I think we actually got a couple of years. Some of these got a lot of the ones I pick, I bet it'll be 10-1 to the upside. We'll see how it turns to be true or not, but
yeah,
that's my prediction. Maybe better. So we'll see.
Awesome deal.
So,
well, Tim, thank you so much. I think we'll see you Tuesday, guys. Check out the Oracle newsletter. Go to ord-oracle.com. Tim, enlightening as always. Thank you so much.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks a lot.
Take care, Tim.